With the girl that time forgot. She just
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Honcast here. We got the Deadeye Bounty League action continuing to come at you. What is the playoffs, of course? The playoffs continuing on the weekday. A later cast? Well, that can only mean one thing. Complexity Gaming going up against Druids here in a best out of 5. So really excited to be here. Again, getting started a little bit later on today, as you may know by now. Complexity being an American team and everything. Tend to start a little bit later on the weekdays at least, just to accommodate for the scheduling purposes. But with that said, we got a best of 5 here. Again, this is an important one because this is it. A loser's bracket matchup. If you lose this, you are officially done here in the Deadeye Bounty League, getting knocked out. No more money to be made for you. If you win here, you make a little bit more cash, and of course, as important, advance on in these playoffs, as you see on the screen in front of you. So with that said, again, definitely a good series ahead of us, no doubt. Two very quality teams going at it here. But we are already well developed into this draft. But before we get into that, got to introduce my co-caster for today. Going to be joined by Shorecan. Shorecan, how's it going?
It's going really good, man. I, got the news that I was going to go to DreamHack. So, yeah, it's I'm really excited. And I just talked to MilkFat as well. So, yeah, he was just going over some of the details, and I was just getting more and more hyped as I was listening to it. Like, But, yeah.
That's coming up here. That's coming up here. It's going to be some fun stuff. But, happy to have you here, though. This is the first cast since we have had you on since the good news. So it should be a good one, though, here today. Again, a little bit later on in the evening. But, hey, you know what? They're playing for some good money here. I'm sure Druid's not going to let that affect them too much in the end. But I also want to reiterate, too, though, these two teams, they actually did play in the group stages, of course, and Complexity did win that series 3-0, actually. So now that was over a month ago, so it's been a while since that happened. But hey, maybe we're thinking. What do you think about Druids as of late? Are they maybe kind of missing a step? You think because they haven't been playing a whole lot, or?
Yeah, well, I rewatched the podcast because I wasn't there, of course, to be in it myself, and I mainly agree with what you guys were saying, that we haven't seen too much of Druids as of late, and due to that, it's very possible that they've kind of lost their step or their stride, so to speak. But I mean, they're starting off strong. They're starting off with really good picks so far. So yeah, they're trying to bring the thunder for sure, and Complexity actually first picking Flux.
Yeah,
like that.
Flux has been a popular hero as of late, man. In general, I mean, this hero you guys have been running on Team Who. I mean, in general, though, this hero, he's no longer a wombo combo hero. He's just a good, solid go-to hero nowadays.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he fills that position of both an initiator and a semi-carry, which is kind of like, it's a rare position. I'd say Kraken fits it a bit as well due to the splash, but not to the same level, because what I mean with initiator in this case is he takes advantage of anybody who's out of position, and especially with Flux, you just pull him really, really close by, and unless they have an escape, there is no escape. So similar to a Kraken, you charge someone out of position, or let's say you get a good Magnus on, all these like nice initiation skills, but then on top of that, Flux also has this 4-second cooldown magnetic surge, which scales so damn well off of strength, and man, we've seen it time and time again where people are just hitting for over 300 damage with just an Insanitarius and like an Ice Brand. Yeah. So yeah, I really like the pick myself, but yeah, that's why he's so popular recently. Also the fact that you can globally see everybody. Yeah,
that's just a nice little bonus. And actually, speaking of that, we actually have been seeing a little bit of Thunderbringer lately. Both Reason Gaming and Sync Esports happening to run some Thunderbringer, and I think it kind of ultimately ties back to what you just finished off with there, the idea of that global presence. Seems like teams are maybe even valuing that a little bit more nowadays. Hell, Sandwraith is also another hero that's kind of stepped up. So you kind of find that to be a trend as of late too?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, all of these heroes are just their ways of securing yourself to not get ganked, because especially with the release of Veiled Rot, people are like on their toes all the time, and having an ability like that to scout it out, you don't actually get vision of the veiled rot people, but when you see no one on the map when you use an ultimate like that, they're veiled rotting somewhere, and you just like step back for a second. So it serves the same purpose.
Absolutely. All right, so let's start. We'll continue even talking about more about this draft, how it's developed here. Druids manages to get Tremble with a 4th pick. Man, the fact that that hero's even still on the board at that point, honestly, a little bit crazy. But that on top of the Ophelia, the Midas, and, of course, the Moira, as we were mentioning. But what do you think of them managing to actually get Tremble here with the 4th pick?
I mean, we haven't seen Tremble that much because he was toned down in a series of slight nerfs. I would say slight because I think he's still a very strong hero. It's just people have been going for more of the team fight heavy like drafts, like you see Complexity going right now, like you see the Tempest, you see the Magnus, you see the Flux. But on the Legion side, they're going back to what it was when the patch for more gold per kill came out.
Yeah.
Like very gank heavy, and Moira fits that perfectly. Midas has a lot of burst, and they're finishing off with a Meraxis. So I'd say they're going for more the gank and push, split push, because Tremble's really good at that, and so is Ophelia.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's very possible that they're going to outplay the Hellborn team through pushing and ganking, and then, increase their lead until in team fights it doesn't matter what their team fight is in comparison to the Legion side. So, yeah.
Oh, geez. So they're going to finish out with Ravener here now. They actually did run the carry Ravener against Reason Gaming, and I will say it was pretty impressive. I mean, he got a good start, and it showed the potential of, once again, if you happen to get a good start and get some snowball going, this hero, it's ridiculous. I mean, he'll be 3-shotting people by the mid-game if he gets some good farm. So they're going to run with it here once again. Formless, formerly known as Beaver Banger, of course, going to be running it. But they do ultimately kind of come together with that Wombo combo. So, again, we're talking about that with Flex. It's not even necessary anymore, it feels like. But, hey, it is a nice addition at the same time. You get a Magnus, you get a Tempest on top of that. There is that threat now brought in there. But what is your take on the Ravener carry choice here?
I actually really like it because he can contest the Legion side in terms of ganking. If they stick around a little bit too long, Ravener with full charges coming in, that's deadly. Like early game Tremble can't deal with that. Ophelia just gets almost one-shotted, and then there's of course Moira, who probably won't actually be near it, but won't really be able to do much other than ulti to stop Formless. And if Legion is going to do what I think they're going to do, and try to gank early on, then it's not going to be possible for the Legion team to get out before Ravener comes in with just an Abyssal and a PK, because that's all he needs.
Yeah. Well, you see, here's the thing with how he built Ravener, though. He actually didn't go that style. What I want to say, he went, I believe he went Thunderclaw, even, first time, and then built into a full-on Dawnbringer. As I don't think, did he go Portal Key? Now I'm actually blanking on whether or not he even went to Portal Key, to be honest, with that carry Ravener. But
yeah, well, that's definitely my mistake then. I apologize for that.
Well, no.
Not realizing I was gone the entire weekend.
It seems like the Abyssal Skull, like that just seems like such a go-to. I think you at least have the ring of the teacher, to be fair, but yeah, full-on Abyssal Skull, it does seem that's popular, the Abyssal Skull Portal Key, but again, now, to be fair, we're talking about the same guy that also does a no Resto Stone Salamon, yet it seems like that's like the most powerful thing ever, yet they don't do that until very later in the game, if that. So, like going to be a little bit different with the idea of the build, but yeah, and I know Thunderclaw is considered to have decent synergy with the hero as well, to be fair, so it does also make sense.
Yeah, it makes sense in the sense that he makes sense in a sense, but so he can actually farm now. Yeah. Because he did kind of lack that ability to farm stacks efficiently, and Thunderclaw allows him to do that. Yeah, I am kind of worried, though, that it's going to slow down his snowball potential, because the Portal Key is just, I personally feel that item is necessary unless you're building him to truly go and carry the late game.
Yeah.
But the hero is kind of a 4-for-1 type of hero. So they need to give him as much space as possible while still somehow getting farmed themselves. Because Ravener, in the end, is not going to match up well versus, a Tremble, who one-on-one is just going to permabash, slow him or just nullfire him down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Again, going back to that Ravender game against Recent Gaming, that was a great series overall. I mean, obviously it went the distance there. Recent did win in the end, but it was a hell of a back and forth battle there. That was also the game, and Formless actually got a double annihilation. And again, the start he had was just ridiculous, and it showed throughout it. So we know the potential is definitely there. A hero that usually is considered, again, not the strongest pick most of the time, but they're going to try to find an opening right here. I don't think it's going to happen though. Midas, he has an escape if necessary, so. Probably not going to get him. And you can see Druids wants to prevent as much as they can as far as warding goes, but it's tough. But now they're spread out, actually, so we all of a sudden have some engagement happening. Flux, what is he going to do? They're going to try to turn on Moraxis, but Moraxis, he throws out a stomp. He's the one that ran up there, but Moraxis is going to end up falling, actually. Kraken goes down, and now Tremble's kind of cut off from his team. He's trying to run around the trees right there. Going to throw them out, but it's not going to be enough. He goes down as well, and this is backfiring big time right now for Druids. It could even be worse. It is going to be worse. A hat trick for the team. Finally, they get one kill on a Magmus, but a 3-for-1 exchange in favor of Complexity right there to start things off. Man, and actually, it's not over. Are you kidding me? We're still not done, apparently, as they want to keep fighting this. Ravender getting low. He will go down, but it's all said and done. They're chasing out Midas. It's not going to happen, though. And now Moira taking some good damage. Magnus runs back in. He's going to land a stun, and Moira will fall. What is happening? It's 4-2 hero kills already, and we're 30 seconds into the game.
I'm speechless. Like, they tried so hard to defend their woods on Druids' side that it just didn't work. Like, you see the team on the Hellborn side, they have a Magnus. Magnus got a beautiful 3-man stun at the start. I mean, Tempest didn't even level his stun. He's like, I'm going to get elementals and just auto-attack. And the fact that they were able to take out Moraxis, who actually got his stun, was just huge. He was completely out of position, and you could see he's not that tanky early game. He does not have levels in his W, increasing his armor, and on top of that, his team was just completely out of position. So, Complexity...
You know what I'm taking back to the most about that is that you look at these lineups here, and yeah, you mentioned the Tempest, but there's a feeling on the other side. I mean, both those in essence are kind of nullified as far as, not the biggest impact, of course, because, he with the minions, as he pointed out, and so did Ophelia for that matter, of course, getting the Judgment ability. But, or the command ability, excuse me. But there's not many powerful, like then a Tremble, he's not the greatest assistance as far as level 1 goes. Moira is pretty good, yeah, but hell, even Midas to an extent. He brings some okay burst, but he's not stunning by any means. So but by my ultimate point, they chose to fight that. I mean, that could have easily been, they could have backed off, but as you were even talking, they really wanted to protect their jungle. I mean, Moraxis just charged in gung-ho right there, and that's how it all began. So you really got to question the Druids' logic right there as to why they were so confident in a level 1 fight when, honestly, on paper, it really feels like the Hellborn team just should be stronger, as they showed in the end. So, yeah, that's what I'm really most shocked about of that whole sequence there.
I mean, I think I'm not going to flame Iceland Gogo or anything, but when he has a really good... I'm not flaming him at all, but when he has a really good time in the game... Okay. I'm just making that
I like you have to state that before. It's like, I just want to be clear. No. All right, but go on.
Basically, Iceland Gogo, when he has a really good time in the woods, he does wonders. But when he has a bad time, his team suffers for it as well. He's one of those players that does a lot for his team when he has a good time, but ends up being what's it called? A disability for the team when he's not having the best farm. Yeah. And that's why they're focusing so much on getting him that good farm, so they have a better chance in the mid game, early game stage. Mm-hmm. And it was also interesting to see that Midas actually leveled his W. I thought he'd have more difficulty in this suicide lane, but knowing Midas, he's just gonna go toe to toe with an empath.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's a strong suicide option. I mean, it's proven to be that. So yeah, Zibbe doing just fine there in that sense. But something else, by the way, we didn't even really mention yet. But Masatoshi is ringing here for Complexity, at least for now. I don't know if that's going to change throughout the series or not. But coL, of course, not here for the time being. So we'll keep an eye on that. But again,
wasn't it coL? No, not coL. It's
top lane Midas. Just talking about him, how he's been able to stand his ground, but he gets collapsed by Tempest also coming over. So much for that going down. Getting picked up.
It's not Cheoli, it's Resher.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, yeah.
No. What are we saying?
God,
Oscar.
Yeah.
Oscar.
You're
Man,
right.
how can we be missing Oscar? Like,
I don't know why I said
Midland.
Chioli right there. More Axis, he's in trouble, and in fact dead. Magnus, he got the early boots. Obviously, he had all those assists and even a kill coming out from the first engagement. He was able to get very early boots, which no doubt helps. And yeah, comes on over and gets the kill right there. More so the assist at least once again. So, but yes, in place of Asuka is Masatoshi right here.
Yeah.
So, and he's doing a fine job, no doubt. Getting boots really helps, I'm sure.
Yeah, roaming Magnus is very strong. I mean, it's one of the few heroes who doesn't suffer that much, and I personally feel he's even better than like a behemoth suicide at roaming because he's able to get in auto attacks afterwards, and those are a big deal of the damage because people can't run away or have escapes as fast as in the later game, later stages.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like the Hellborn's draft right now. They're making sure to have an advantage early as well as have the team fight later on. They might not have the one-on-one late game, but in team fight, I think they surely do.
Again, it doesn't feel like a complexity draft, does it? And I think that the biggest thing with that is that they don't have that really hard carrier that we're so used to seeing them, if anything, going. Again, a notorious team for taking it in the late game. They have the average late game. Like, we've been over this plenty of times. But this is a Ravener carry, you know, and what seems to be somewhat of a more movement-heavy team earlier on in the game is not necessarily what you would expect. But this is maybe a little bit of a shift, perhaps, from complexity as far as moving forward and with DreamHack coming up. But do you kind of agree with me, or do you think it's actually
I completely agree with you. I mean, mid lane, though.
Yeah, they're going to engage right here, actually pulling from the Tempest ultimate. Hit coddle 3 right there. Will they have enough follow-up? They will. No, the Miraxis Matrax comes out. That shows you right there, if you didn't know already, how tanky he can be when he activates that ultimate. They will get the pick on Amora, though, as well as Ophelia in trouble. Nice transmute from Midas, however. Down goes Magnus. Ophelia will fall, but, of course, living life after death right here through the Catman champion. Boris joining the party as Tremble ports it as well, and the finish on a Tempest. He came in trying to assist, but Midas cost him with his life right there for that decision. And Empath still on the run. I don't know, though. They may cut her off. You see, yep, shots Harka. Nice wall, though, from Baba Ganoush, and he will survive. So, good sequence right there, though. Kills being picked up by Druids.
Okay, yeah, as you were saying, though, the complexity draft, it's not what we'd usually see. I mean, we usually see, what is it, Formless? Yeah, Formless on, you know, the Gemini, the Oogie, even TDL sometimes. Just heroes that have a lot of late game, and usually those, like, beefy, I'm going to be in the front type of heroes. So, in that sense, Ravener fits Formless really well, because Ravener is one of those few, I'm going to go YOLO into somebody's face now. And, yeah, for the rest, he doesn't carry as hard, but then again, if you get the farm, if you have like 200 GP or more than the enemy carry, you're still going to out-carry him.
Yeah.
So, it's highly dependent on this good early stages for Hellborn. I mean, they already have a significant lead. I mean, 440 GPM on Fuzzy Sloth.
Yep, that's looking pretty strong to say the least for the Hellborn side.
I mean, I find he does this build every single time. I still find it really strange, not maxing release. It does save mana, and the slow remains the same, but just the burst is kind of gone. But
yeah, it
does make him a stronger laner.
Yeah.
Because of the 4-second cooldown and have longer range. So, in that sense, it makes a lot of sense.
I think that's really the playstyle ultimately coming down to it. And if you're expecting a lot of activity from your team early on, which there kind of has been, to be fair, because of how the skin's gone, you could argue the release probably would be the more efficient in the end, but yeah, it's not like, I don't think it's a game changer, like awful choice by any means. But Flux, he's in trouble, however. Magnus coming in, nice Skeleton King net right there, though, saving the day. He pushes them away, but it's just too damn late. In comes Ravener, though, gets the kill on Ophelia, and will there be more is the question. Tremble activates the Swarm right there, and it looks like that's going to be enough to, well, finish it, I guess. That's basically mid-wars right here going on. And really ends up being the 1-for-1. But what a stop by Iceland Koga right there on Magnus, preventing him from jumping in with what could have been a huge eruption, no doubt.
He did pay for his life, but it's an Ophelia in, yeah, in a trade for Fuzzy Sloth who had 440 GPM. So definitely worth it. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like a lot of things are being forced by both teams. I mean, Formless TP'd in there without any charges, so that felt kind of awkward in my opinion. And he did actually end up going the Abyssal instead of Lightning first item.
Yeah.
So they do want to have some good team fight early on, which I understand versus the Legion team.
God, I'm trying to remember, like, if he actually went. I know he definitely had the Ring of the Teacher, but I really want to say he went the Thunderclaw and just never built an Abyssal Skull after that. But at the same time, I might be wrong. I mean, again, it all kind of blends together. That was a Tuesday, a week ago, who knows. But anyway, so back to the live game here. Okay.
You know what, Breaky?
What's
I'm
up?
just going to check for you.
Okay, yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Let's see if we can maybe find that there. But anyways, the point is, yeah, he does have a full Abyssal Skull now. It's obviously great for the team fight. Again, it's good synergy with your other general. But I still wouldn't be surprised to see the Thunderclaw because, you know, as people are even pointing out, too, it does have really good synergy with his ultimate as far as stacking up those charges as well on top of the farming capabilities it brings to the table. So, again, especially if you're planning on playing him more of that carry-ish role, then it makes a lot of sense as an item to go for. So we'll see if that continues the trend here or not.
I have come back from my search, and I have found out that Ravenor did end up going the Abyssal, and I assume it's one of his first items, and then I think he went Lightning into Shrunken and Frostburn. So he didn't go for the PK route, but
that's probably what was
you
it
could,
then, yeah.
Yeah, you could argue, though, that, you know, PK isn't a farming item, so why get it?
Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't make you a stronger fighter, it just lets you position that stun correctly. But if you have a Magnus and a Flux already doing the setup for you, then you don't have to initiate.
Yeah. Ooh, bottom lane. Flux is down here. He's got Discharge ready to go. Does he have follow-up? Magnus is nearby with an Eruption. It's a matter of can they really line this up. They might want at least one more. Maybe they can get Mora by herself. But again, there is support nearby, so it feels a little risky here. Trying to make something happen. You can tell Magnus is almost kind of trying to bait them out. And I'm expecting TPs. Here we go, though. Mora charging in. Nope, not just yet, though. Flux is being very patient right here. Not going to go over the top, realizing that there's more numbers than maybe here initially they thought. And instead, they're going to hug the tower. They do have Empath porting in, though, in the flank. And, oh, I guess the Flux ulti is not going to be used here in the end.
Yeah, I think they had a chance to go, but it was also down to the fact that, you know, Ravenor doesn't have full charges, so if he TPs in, he'll just be slightly less useful. And, I mean, I haven't seen him with full charges at any time in this game, so I don't know if that's due to what you got, farming too much in the woods, or whether he's just not got that much experience playing the hero.
Yeah. Because,
you know, a player like Now, who brought it into the scene, he makes a point of it to always have full charges, whatever happens.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. Again, that's where, and you know, we have had discussions on this hero in the past, like why his win percentage is so low. As a carry, it actually is. It's all right, but as an initiator, it's still winless, which is kind of funny, I find. But, but I think it does go back to that, though. I mean, that is his no doubt weak point. You know, keeping the charges up is the goal with the hero, as you're pointing out right there. So making sure to look for fights when those charges are good to go, fighting around areas that you could get charges from, things like that. So again, the previous game against Reason, he did a fantastic job of that, and we saw the potential if you're able to keep that up and get the snowball going. And right now, 465 gold per minute. I mean, he's 2-1-1 here so far to start. Obviously having a good start, and there you go with the Warp Clef. So it looks like the Thunderclaw is going to be coming out as previous as well right here. How about what you got going Ghost Marchers, by the way, on Tempest?
I think it's kind of cocky in a way. Like, he's against a lot of heroes that can burst him down, so getting those Ghost Marchers are pretty much only for positioning, because you don't really see a Tempest auto-attacking that often. But yeah, like, Moraxis doesn't really care, he just bursts him down like with that ultimate and stun, and then there's of course the Midas, who does a similar thing. So I don't know what to think about it. I mean, it might be the game-changing, oh, I'm that one little range further,
Yeah.
so I can get another person in my ultimate, or it's, oh look, I got one-shotted again. And I'm sure we'll see a lot of both in this game.
Absolutely. Top lane, by the way, Ravener in trouble right here. Transmute. Oh my gosh. Ooh, that's one of those rough pauses. It's like right as they get jumped. And oh, by the way, pause the game. Oh boy.
So let's talk about items though. Like Midas has a ring of sorcery.
Yeah.
That's not something you see very often anymore on the hero. Like many people are opting to go for the chalice, and it's a way cheaper option, and it allows you to focus on getting that portal key. So I prefer the other build, to be completely honest.
On Midas we're talking about here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
instead of like 950 gold, which essentially does the same as, well, in total it's like 1400 gold, but chalice is only 600 gold. So comparing that and then being able to push out lanes, I mean, he has a bottle already, and I really like the combination of bottle chalice, because then you get to use your combo chalice and then use one bottle charge, and then you're full health and mana pretty much. So it's a really nice combo, but like Ring of Sorcery, it doesn't do the same for me.
Yeah, no, I see what you, and on top of that, having the two of them, I mean, obviously that is beneficial at the same time, but it's not like an Energizer or an Astrolabe where it's like, oh, why do you have two Ring of Sorceries? That's stupid. I mean, that's not the case. I mean, it's definitely nice. They don't obviously have overlapping debuffs or anything like that, but
I think it's just too costly of an investment for a suicide hero who needs to recover and then get effective items quickly.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be interesting here. Again, Ravener, he does take a transmute. It's a matter of Tempest is running over, does have those Ghost Marchers. You got Empath also striding in. I don't know. I mean, Ravener, he's somewhat tanky here.
He doesn't have vestments, though, so that could be the difference.
Oh, here we go. There's the damage follow-up. Morax is charging in. Mana Center on top of that coming out. However, Ravener, no, he's not going to be this game, but Tempest, Elemental Void comes out. Ravener going for the turn. The Matriarch's protecting a lot of damage. Might have stayed alive with the heal from Ophelia, but it's not enough for the end. However, Morax's will survive, gets pulled back in, though. Magma stuns in. The Eruption going off. Trembles in trouble. Trembles in dead trouble, in fact. What a turn there by Complexity. Keeping Ravener aligned, and it all worked out as they're now going to push in this top tower on top of that. So, well, Fozen gave them a little bit more talking time, I'm sure, but it worked out in the end. They had to execute, and they did.
You know what happened?
What's that?
Moira didn't have enough mana for ultimate, for his ultimate to cancel the Tempest ultimate after using both Shards of Harkin and Mana Sunder. So I'm sure he's feeling really bad about himself right now because, yeah. I don't know, man. An Arcane Vortex could have turned that around. They would have gotten away without any casualties, and now they lost their carry and their suicide.
Yeah, that Elemental Void no doubt allowed Ravener to start turning that around and putting out some good damage in that fight. So yeah, I got to agree. Check out the replay here when we get a second as far as Lowell in action. But yeah, that's brutal. Yeah, are you sure he was level 6 at the time?
Yeah, he was level 6 at the time.
Yeah.
I made a point of it to check just to make sure. I don't want to sound stupid on camera or anything.
No, never. I never do that. So yeah, you don't want to do it either. Yeah, so unfortunate circumstances definitely, and again a 6,000 gold lead, nearly 5,600 gold lead in favor of Complexity right now. So you got Druids. Proboscis doing his thing on Tremble, 370 gold per minute or so. He's got the Thunderclaw, and I'm actually curious, is this a Shrunken Head next, do you think, or a Brutalizer for him? Does he need that Shrunken?
He wants to get those auto attacks in, but I'm afraid that a lot of the Hellborn team doesn't really care that much about a Shrunken. Like, you have the Discharge, which goes through it, as well as the Magnetic Surge, and then you have the Wall, which, you know, stops him, and then there's the stun from Ravener and Magnus and Tempest, but those are the only things he'd be getting rid of. But you know, Ravener still does superior magic damage.
Yep. He sure does, and that's always what helps him kind of make it a tough decision. It's not like the Yugi factor where it's like, oh, it's all magic, you know, get the Shrunkins. I'll be good at least for a little bit. He goes right through it. Ravener going to be jumping right, by the way. Empath goes inside. Magma's the counter. Big stun in the background to stop the follow-up. Ravener, holy crap, he's still alive, and he is going to end up falling. Oh, my God, he's still alive. Finally goes down. The electrical feedback helping amongst other things. But in the end, he does die. More access for Ravener right there. Eruption, though, from Magnus in the background. There's that Arcane Vortex coming out. Not sure if it really helped or hurt. We'll have to figure that out later. But Midas transmitted in the background on a Flux. He's found by himself, though. And he goes down. As you probably noticed, Ravener did buy back. Ophelia goes down to finish it off. So the ultimate picture, I mean, definitely Complexity coming on top. Ravener did buy back, but he even got an assist out of it. So I think you got to say it's worth it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're making sure to keep their lead alive. Like, and now that they're going to take Kong, like, this is going to spiral out of control. And Ravener is one of those heroes who needs to snowball, and even when you use an early buyback like that, come on, he's like 500 GPM, so what does it matter? What I am curious about, though, is that Legion's decision-making is kind of off right now. They're trying to take team fights, but they only just got the... I mean, I guess Ophelia is a strong team fighter with the heals, but like they only just got a PK on Meraxis. They don't have a PK on Midas, and there's no Shrunken who he's probably going to go a Shrunken next, so he can actually do stuff in team fights. On Tremble.
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels really awkward. They need to be looking for pickoffs, and they're going for team fights.
Yeah.
Like they made the conscious decision to overextend onto the other side of the river there. You saw it with the Boris from Tremble. So it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, you know, again, that really takes us back to the beginning of the game, doesn't it? In the jungle right there, where Druids they made the conscious decision to initiate into a fight where you could argue on paper it seems like that might not be the best. Complexity arguably had the stronger level 1 lineup, and really you got to think that showed throughout that sequence of events. But top lane, the discharge was used right there, kind of funky. You see Moira's actually going to throw out the Arcane Vortex TP, and she will survive, so very smart getaway right there coming out from Moira. It did cost her an Arcane Vortex cooldown, but at least stays alive.
But I mean, they're thinking now, why was Moira there? I mean, it's clear that she warded. Now they just, to really like secure their lead, they just need to get an eye right now, and then take control of the map, starving all of Legion side from farm, and then yeah, that I think that should be their next plan of action, because right now it just seems that they're just trying to continue their lead, which is great, but you're gonna want to end the game at some point because Tremble does out hit the Ravener in the end.
Yeah, obviously the Twin Fangs or Impalers, excuse me. Used to be Twin Fangs skill, to be fair. But,
Gemini.
No, the Impalers is a very, very powerful scaling ability, which helps make him that carry that he is. What was I going to say about, well, I mean, you do see Ravener, by the way. Firebrand picked up by him. So, oh, yeah, he was pointing out Baba Ganoush, his record here. 0-11. How about that? Empath, I got to think a lot of that's just coming from, well, jumping inside Ravener. We've seen that a couple of these fights now, and assisting. Hell, the last fight, a big reason why Ravener lived, honestly, was because of the Essence Link from Empath. Obviously, that's some good synergy there.
As well as the wall on top of that.
Yeah.
Like, it's been working out really well, and Empath does, in the end, make Ravener more of a hard carry due to those extra abilities that you obtain. So, that, like, although they don't have too late of a carry, let's say, they still have an Empath.
Yep, exactly. It definitely puts any kind of the right-click potential on another level, safe to say. So, yeah, with that in mind, I mean, you could factor in, you know, obviously a straight-up Tremble versus Ravener. You probably still would give Tremble the advantage in the end, but you throw an Empath inside, then it could be a different story. But right now, Ravener 545 gold per minute. Like I said, I'm pretty sure we're going to see a full Dawnbringer eventually going to be coming up. Midas, by the way, he got caught hanging around a little too long right here. And you even see Magnus, he was running around just in case he looked Elemental Warp would catch him, and he really had no chance. So Zebe picked off there.
He doesn't have enough. He does have enough gold for his PK if he wants to buy it, though, which is nice.
Yeah.
But I mentioned earlier in the cast already that PK isn't a fighting item; it's a positioning item. So.
Huh.
Yeah, it's well, like you could argue, of course, with some heroes like Magnus, you have more damage because your positioning is key. But with Midas, it's like, I mean, it doesn't make him auto attack harder. It does allow him to hit more heroes, so there is that increase in damage. But in terms of getting more farm or just being a stronger hero in that sense. It's not as strong as like the Morax is jumping in now.
There we go. Matrax popped right there. Quick kill and a Ravener actually coming out, but that token of life resurrection. Will he have the backup to fight through this? He needs to run away, actually. Wall comes out. He's not going to happen. Ravener goes down right there. I got to think his charges were minimal, and that show but a big elemental void. It's going to be stopped pretty quickly, however, and especially with Ravener dead, Complexity not interested in fighting this, I'm sure. So that's where you even got to question the ultimate coming out a little bit from Tempest at that time. Magnus, he's trying to portal key. No! Masatoshi had plenty of portal key chance right there. But he chose not to for whatever reason. I don't know. I mean, it was off cooldown and everything. Just double checking it, but for whatever reason, gets Kai. He goes down and a third kill on top of it. So hold your horses, says Druids. There's still plenty of game left, and now they're going to push back, and this is now all of a sudden kind of scary for Complexity.
I mean, Masatoshi wasn't at all in that fight till the very end, and then he ended up dying as well. That was just a misplay coming out from him, for sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure Complexity was thinking, oh, we have token, they're not going to try and defend this outer tower. We don't need Magnus. But it ended up being their downfall, because imagine a channeling Magnus eruption when the Ravener was about to revive. I mean, they were all stacked up so hard that they would have all just been, like, melted. They would have all just melted.
Yeah. Man, it's just how the tides have turned, just like that. All of a sudden, Druids, they get a couple of secondary tower kills. Obviously, there's no more token of life threat on top of that. I mean, this is ridiculous. You know, you got a Tremble, who what's being delivered? A full Brutalizer? Yeah, full Brutalizer coming out to Tremble on top of it all. So it's definitely just completely swayed in favor of the Legion team. Well, the stats still say in favor of Complexity, and this is gonna. Oh boy, Ravener's dead. That'll really put it in Druid's favor if it wasn't already.
Man, they haven't counted that ward.
You're right.
Like, they haven't even tried.
Yeah.
That ward, man, that spotted out both the Tempest and the Ravener. So, and, you know, them being able to see the Hellborn heroes at the bottom lane. I mean, it's a little too late, Empath. You got an eye now, but it's not going to help that much.
That's very true. Yeah, not taking advantage of that information earlier, as you were talking about. You know, when Moira was up there, they killed her. It's like, well, why else would she be up here by herself other than placing a ward aside? So they did not pick up on that, I guess, enough. Yeah, I'm watching the replay right here, though, of that previous fight, and yeah, by the time Magnus was there, it was obviously way too late. And even at the end here, he had the portal key up the whole time. And he even had a second when Moraxis jumped in to react, and I don't know if it was lag or just something, but he wasn't watching. I don't know, but something was off that fight for him, and unfortunately just got caught out and, well, killed off. So one of several issues in that fight for Complexity.
And about that fight as well, I think Probosk did a really good job just standing in the front with that Shrunken. I mean, there was not much that the Hellborn team could do because, I mean, Ravener was getting, like, perma-disabled, and then on top of that, you know, what you got wasn't in the best position to get an ulti off without getting cancelled immediately because Serenia did a great job of ulting everybody in the background. Really nice to see. Man, there seem to have been, like, server issues as of late.
Yeah, I mean, it's up and down. I mean, that was a report I figured out, and apparently trying to get it figured out, obviously, as far as for today. I think this is just simply a issue on Formless's part. I don't think this is an actual server issue. It seems that the servers have been good today, yeah, but when they played on Tuesday, there were some issues at Complexity. I think Formless as a player, he was having to deal with there with the server specifically, but it sounds like it has been good so far today, so we'll see what the issue is here moving forward, but obviously he's currently disconnected. To wait for him to reconnect here and advance on. But again, guys, this is a best-of-5 matchup here we got coming at you, and you said the Complexity versus Reason series definitely went the distance on what was Saturday. I guess that was Saturday. That's right. Anyways, and a good series there, but you're facing off Druid, so again, obviously a little bit different in terms of the weekday now and the time and everything. So if it does go the distance, it's going to be a late night for the Europeans.
Yeah, and I'm going to feel that tomorrow, man. Yeah. For sure.
It's possible. It is possible, but we'll have to see how it plays out here.
I mean, it's possible that Formless is also just rage quitting consistently.
Yeah,
but,
that too.
You know, I mean...
That is possible.
They have a 3.5k lead still, even after like getting picked off 3 times, I'd say, because of the token.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he is back now.
Matter of giving that thumbs up that he's good to go. But yeah, again, this is just now a scary-looking Tremble here all of a sudden. But the supporting cast around him too. You got a Hellflower that works for Moraxis. Midas, he's slowly getting up there. He's actually well on his way to a Sheepstick. Now that I say that, Blessed Orb and okay, so yeah, he didn't even go the Portal Key. Yeah, he went the Blessed Orb.
This is what I was saying.
Okay.
I think he agrees with me in terms of it doesn't help me fight. I mean, if they're gonna come to me, I don't have to blink on top of them.
Yeah.
So I mean, he gets 190 more HP, might save him at some point.
Yeah. Oh, makes sense there.
Tremble at 500 GPM or more is 16-0. That is pretty ridiculous.
Yep.
So he's reaching that mark pretty quickly.
Yes, he is. 490 or so. So yeah, it's I mean, Baba Ganoush still undead or hasn't died, I guess. 1-0-11 here as far as the hero kill stat line goes. So that's some good news there, definitely. But they are going to need to defend their base right here. It looks like not too much longer as Druids is deciding to retreat and not force the issue. Figure, you know what, we already got plenty out of this. Let's not go over the top here now.
Yeah.
They'll fall back.
There's the Frostburn pickup. I would really like to see him get a Shrunken on Ravener, though. Like, he's just getting locked down way too hard by so many of Legion's abilities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah? You think, yeah, I guess the way I'm looking at it, it does seem like it's pretty beneficial here.
I mean, even if it, like... I mean, you can still get netted by the Skeleton King, of course, but then there's also the Midas and the Moraxis slow, and then there's the Serenia with the Shards of Harken and the Mana Sunder.
Yeah.
And even just the damage amp from Ophelia, even though it's level 1, could do more things in the late game.
Let's talk about that for a second, man. Nature's Wrath. Like, talk about an ability that we see
Underused.
often, but not even, well, maybe that too,
Well,
but I'm thinking as a spectator, like, underappreciated. Like, that's... You figure, what is that? It's what, 28%? Yeah, 28% at level 4 of increased damage that people are taking when she applies that. That's ridiculous, as far as burst goes.
I've had, like, many days where I think of when I'm personally playing Ophelia, whether to... I mean, I don't like playing Ophelia. It's incredibly difficult and annoying, but when you do so, when you're facing heroes like, let's say, Omaraxis, who doesn't have an escape, the slow might be way more effective in adding damage rather than the Ophelia's Judgment, but many players opt to go for Ophelia's Judgment just to be able to teleport someone back. And I think that's fair. It reduces the duration needed for the send back, so in a tight spot, it could mean a world of difference.
Absolutely, yeah. You see it's, what, 5.5 to 4 seconds of difference in time right there. So yeah, a second and a half less, and as you pointed out, especially in the mix of a fight, that can really be a big difference maker. So, but absolutely, I really think you are onto something there, that there is justification that in the laning phase even, you could argue that Nature's Wrath, it's if you're going for kill, might actually be the more efficient tool in the end. But look at them pushing the top tower right here. Putting some good pressure. Tremble the front lines. Flux has an invis. Is there any kind of rev for it? It doesn't look like it. They're going to jump onto Tremble right here. Oh, man. Not the biggest follow-up. And actually, he's going to get away. I'm surprised as to why they didn't really commit to that. He doesn't have a token or anything. Morax is going to stomp, and that'll end it.
I'm so confused. Like, why didn't Tempest just jump in?
Yeah.
I mean, Meteor was up, I think.
That's something.
I mean, it does a lot of damage. Hello.
Yeah.
He was locked down for such a long time as well. So
they were almost playing as if Tremble had a token right there. Yet he obviously didn't.
And, I mean, Tremble is a lot of their damage. It's not like... I mean, Moraxis can do a lot of damage if he gets a 5-man stun combo off, but at the same time, don't stand stacked up as 5, and that was a free kill. I mean, the Ravener stun was all that was needed for a kill.
Yeah. I'm baffled, as some like you are, and I'm sure a lot of people watching right now, as to why they did not commit to a situation right there where, again, I got the replay up even. It's like, it's set up perfectly, too. I mean, Flux is right there with the invis, and it seemed like it was going to work out. I mean, they got him to half-life, and then they got him to half, and then they ran away. They, like, turned around for some reason, and then like, wait a second, we could actually kill him. And by the time they went, though, Arcane Vortex came out and completely stalled them. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what they were up to, but we're on
I
the
guess
same page.
Ophelia's 400 HP heal with Astra and his ultimate at that time, because he was level 10,
Yeah.
would have maybe saved him, but I mean, come on, 400 HP at this point?
No, yeah, I think you got to commit to that fight if you're Complexity, but they chose not to, and, well, obviously Probusk able to stay alive and keep the GPM going. In fact, he has overtaken the top spot in the game now, 520 gold per minute, surpassing, of course, Formless there, playing the Ravener. You see the Ice Brand pick up. Do you think this is actually going to be straight up to a Frostful Skull even, or I'm going to see maybe a Dawnbringer here or something?
I think he's gonna go straight for Frostwolf Skull on Fuzzy Sloth, right?
Yeah.
Not on. Yeah.
No, on Probusk.
Formless is gonna go Shrunken. Oh, Probusk.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Tremble.
Damn. Whoa, what am I saying? I think he's gonna go for the Frostwolf Skull because it's really strong versus Ravener. It's one of the items that hard counters him because stop his movement and you can kill Ravener, pretty much.
Okay.
That's why I feel that Arachna is also a counter to this type of hero because, like, when you get the spider on the Ravener, for example, Ravener moves at like 100 movement speed, and then it's really easy to kite him.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, obviously the ball lightning is really his only catch-up chance right there as far as trying to keep things going. And yeah, especially also since he doesn't have the portal key. You were talking about that. How he doesn't have that gap closer kind of tool right there. So
I wanted to like talk to you about the damage charts, and I see Ravener having less damage than Magnus.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like this is like I feel like now really hit the nail on the head with the ganking PK, just ruffle stomp the enemy type of style. Like I really think that that's the best way to play it because as you can see now, he's just Magnus.
Oh my God, he's gonna die. Yep, Serenia kills
Wow.
him with the shards of Archon right there. So great pick coming out. From
Diving
Druids.
the base.
Yeah. I mean, they dove deep and there was no response. By the time they got there, it was obviously too late, so well played.
Yeah, I mean, I think had Masatoshi been a bit more patient, he would have been able to dodge the Shard of Harken by using his Lava Surge, but it was just unlucky that it popped right after his stun came up again.
Well, Tremble, double damage rune. He's going right for the Rex now. So things are changing a little bit. I mean, Magnus has a buyback, but it's 15 more seconds. You don't want to have to, but this is going to be a Rax. And in fact, there we go. Magnus does buy back, by the way. So here we go. Flux, he's dropping quickly. Flux will go down. Magnus stuns in right there. No eruption, though. You do see Ravener getting caught with the Arcane Vortex. That melee Rax is going to be picked off. And the Legion team trying to get away. No, but the Skull King stop on Tempest right there. Beautiful immediate stop. And Tempest dropping a half-life. He's going down quickly. Treble still well alive in the midst of it all. Ravener falls right there. He buys back immediately, but the damage already being done. He loses another teammate. Flux is also getting low. Once again, after his buyback, Moraxis jumps back in. Ravener comes in, but again, no charges. You cannot expect him to be doing much without those charges. And a double damage rune wears off at the end there, but that was on the whole time on a Tremble. So, oh man, Drew is just dominates that fight.
Oh my god, that was so perfectly played. Like, I'm gonna commend Serenia on that. The Magnus ulti was completely nullified. He managed to get his mana sunder while he was channeling his ulti. Not that it stopped it, but Magnus was just standing there. Like, I can't actually use my stun or tablet or anything. Holy crap. Like, also, oh man. In the end, Krake manning up with the PK to make sure that his teammate didn't die, Probusk. My god. That was just... Like, the synchronization was there, and you already mentioned it, but the Skeleton King immediately stopping Tempest, my god.
Yeah, that was
Holy
big.
crap.
Yeah, I see the Kraken thing right here at the very end. He had like 5% life, jumps back, and he does die in the end, but no doubt helping us save Tremble at the end there and help him get away. So, yeah, so many just well-played moments from Druids coming out against Complexity in that fight specifically. And their lead is growing to their biggest yet. Again, they really haven't had a lead as far as a team goes this game yet. They get one right there, definitely, after a very successful fight. And now Kongor is in the works.
Like Fuzzy Sloth had another buyback, but it wasn't going to do anything at that point. Like, I don't know. He should have bought his Frostwolf Skull, in it, if anything, slowing down the Tremble as well, because it's also a really good counter to Tremble. And, you know, Formless, no more buybacks. I mean, we've seen stats from Quincy that always say that once you've used a buyback, your win chance drops
Yeah, it starts to go downhill
lower.
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
You figure on the losing team, it's even though it's bound to happen, of course, but it even still doesn't mean a higher win percentage because Empire loses without dying currently 4-0. That is interesting. Yeah, 1-0-12 empath.
They're just ignoring her.
Right,
They're just like, oh
yeah,
look.
well, yeah, I guess
And
so.
imagine this entire time she would have had a Merrick's bounty.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Oh god, that would have been insane.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun item when it's introduced, of course. Not going to be introduced until after DreamHack, I think it's safe to say, but
I'm glad for
yeah.
that.
It's probably a good thing.
We're going to see behemoths running around with Merrick's bounty, just going around stunning people with boots.
Yeah.
That's all they're going to do.
Lead strats. Morax is trying to save his teammate, might cost him his life in the end. As he's in trouble now. Yeah, Kraken's going to fall. So this time, I mean, he does die again, just like the previous time, but this time a little more silly, you could argue. Zibby was really already caught out at that point, and he was trying to make another big play, but it ends up giving them a second kill, so not good news for Druids on the other hand, and means a little bit more farm now for complexity, but still, you do factor in the buybacks as we're stressing. The fact that Ravener is out of buybacks completely. You got Fuzzy Sloth and Masatoshi both down to 1 buyback, as well as what you got for that matter. So yeah, a lot has been used here across the board in that sense. So really, it's only a 3,200 gold lead right now for Druids, but it's more than that when you factor in the buybacks on top of it. So Ravener, yeah, 3, 6, and 8, jeez.
I'm just so, like, confused. They had such a huge lead on complexity side, and they managed to just throw it with that one team fight where they just didn't have Magnus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it feels so awkward. They were on a roll, and now like the snowball, it's completely stopped. All of their, what's it called? All of their avalanche rolling effect, everything. It's just gone.
Yeah,
they're just trying to hold on now.
They are. You see, as a team right now, Druids is kind of moving together at the bottom lane. In fact, Tremble just purchased his charged hammer. Gonna have that being delivered. Look at Ophelia, by the way, and Ice Auger. I love seeing stuff like this. Kind of somewhat different. The Ice Auger for the armor buff. It's being a little bit later on in the game. Definitely of good value there. 8 armor.
Not sure what it's going to do versus a Ravener, but...
True. That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, you're right. Never mind.
I'm sorry, Bricky. I'm sorry to disappoint.
No, usually I would love to see this, but you are very right. I'm looking at this Hellborn team now, thinking to myself, yeah, there's no physical presence really. Outside of, I mean, Flux is dealing decent. We've talked about that, but yeah, it's not. I don't know if that's warranted enough, but still, it's a nice addition to the lineup. But here we go. Tremble going to be jumping again. This time he does have a token alive. Matrax in the background. Morax is right there. Treble's still alive, by the way. Ravener jumping in. Does even have charges. He has 40 charges. Not nearly enough, it looks like. He's going toe-to-toe. He will get the kill first, but now he's in trouble just trying to run away. The Elemental Void canceled immediately after the token use onto Tremble right there, and he goes down as a result. Moira, the only one currently dead on the Legion side. Tempest buys back. Again, he doesn't have an Elemental Void, though, so Tower goes down. And that'll be that. Formless did manage to stay alive. He was able to help kill Tremble the first time, but he had to fall back right after that and couldn't do much else. So once again, a good stand there by Druids. They win the fight really. Tremble ultimately stays alive because of the token, and back to more farm we go.
When you're taking a look at the replay, make sure to note that because Ravener didn't have a PK, he didn't manage to land a stun on Tremble before he shrunkened. And they would have been able to take out the token immediately, but now it took way longer than expected, and, Ravener took a lot more damage than he should have had he had a PK.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to take your word for it. I forgot to save that replay right there, so.
Oh, no.
Nothing I can do about it now, unfortunately. But anyways, yeah, middle lane Flux going to be jump Magnus stunts in, but it's going to be too much. The Shrunken Heads are just kind of talking about that, doing too much work. Ravener's just on the run. He's like, save me, team. That ain't going to happen. He goes down. Baba Ganoush, he wants to keep his non-death streak alive, but GG's already being called, and I think for a very good reason. It's clear that Tremble's starting to scale to the point where he's not going to be stopped. That will do it. GG, well played. Game 1 going to Druids here in this best set of 5. So, you were really just talking about, though, a couple minutes ago. It honestly came down to that middle fight, though. The middle fight, Magnus unfortunately not there in the beginning, and that kind of showed at the very end. In fact, I'm going to get the replay for that one here while we're recapping and finishing up this game. But yeah, final thoughts on this first game here.
Ophelia purchased Demonic at the end of the game.
Okay.
I think that yeah, shows what happened at the end. I mean, the entire team just kind of really came together. I mean, you saw the sheep stick being put on Ravener immediately, giving him absolutely no chance to do anything. So really well played for them to take advantage in that mid fight. And for the rest, I mean, Complexity had this game.
Yeah.
I honestly feel that Complexity should have won this game, but they got cocky.
Yep, perhaps that's the case, but again, we saw Formless on that Ravener recently against Rising Cayman and dominate a double annihilation. I mean, we know the potential's there, and it seemed like he was starting to get a groove a little bit, but losing a couple fights, and before you know it, Druids takes over, and Probusk on the tremble enough to definitely carry it. Again, great team effort, definitely on their side. So we got game number 1 of the books. Stay tuned, guys. We got game number 2 around the corner here. Druids versus Complexity here in this best of 5. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Game number 2 coming up next.